So today we're going to talk about the distance formula, and we're going to learn a little trick with the distance formula that will help us remember each part of it. So the distance formula is actually the face of a girl. This girl's name starts with D for distance. This girl has very long hair, but she always pulls it to the side. This is her long hair, and it's always pulled to this side. So it's very long and pulled to the side. Then she has two eyes. So here are her two eyes. This girl also has very long eyelashes. That's where we put our squares. These are her pupils. Inside of each set of parentheses is a minus. Those are her pupils. And then here is her nose. In between each set is adding. Then the last step, X comes before Y in the alphabet. So you have X2 minus X sub 1, Y sub 2 minus Y sub 1. And that's it. That's the distance formula. So let's find the distance between 2 points using the distance formula and following the face of the girl. So I'm going to make 2 points. I'm going to have a negative 1, 2, and 2, negative 2. Now, remember, coordinate is x, y. So let's make this negative 1, 2 our first coordinate. So I'm going to call this x1, and I'm going to call this y1. Then the second one is going to be x2, y2. Now we need our girl. So the distance equals, let's do her hair. Then we have her eyes. We have her eyelashes, her pupils, and her nose. Now let's plug in our points. So we're going to start. X is first. So we have x2 is 2, and x1 is negative 1. Then our y's. Our y2 is negative 2. Our y1 is 2. X comes before y. So x's are in the first set, y's are in the second set. Now all we need to do is just solve. So I'm not going to do anything with my square yet. I need to do what's inside the parentheses. So the first thing I notice is here, when you subtract a negative, it becomes a positive. So this actually becomes 2 plus 1 squared plus parenthesis negative 2 minus 2 squared. Now we can solve inside those parentheses. Remember, order of operations. So we have to do the parentheses first. So do the parentheses. 2 plus 1 is what? 3. We keep our square. Then negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4 squared. So now we need to square. We did our parentheses. Now we're going on to our exponents. So what is the square of 3? Well, that's 9. Then when we have negative 4 squared, well, negative times negative becomes a positive. So we're still adding. Then 4 squared is 16. Now add those together. Keeping our square root, what is 9 plus 16? 25. Now, 25 is a perfect square, so we can solve it for a whole number. The square root of 25 is 5. And we're done. So the distance between negative 1, 2 and 2, negative 2 is 5. Let's look at another example. So I'm going to do the points 8, negative 2, and 10, 1. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label my x1, y1 and my x2, y2. Remember, ordered pair is an x, y. So you have x, then y. One set is x1 sub y1. Second set is x2, y2. Now you need our girl. Start with her hair. then her eyes, then her eyelashes, her pupils, and her nose. And now, x comes before y. So our x2 is 10 minus our x1, which is 8. Our y2 is 1 minus our y1 is -2. And now solve. So 10 minus 8 becomes what? 10 minus 8 just becomes 2 squared. Plus, okay, look here, we got this happening again. So minus and negative becomes adding, so this becomes what? This becomes 1 plus 2 squared, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So now 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 plus 9 is 13. Now, 13 is not a perfect square, so you can either leave it like that unless they ask you to put it in decimal form. You can normally leave it as the exact answer of square root of 13. They might tell you to put in decimal, but then all you do is take the square root of 13, do as many decimal points as they ask. At this point, we've done 2 practice problems. I'm going to put up one more for you to do as practice. If you're not sure if you're doing it right, raise your hand and let me know, and we'll look over it to make sure you got it right before you move on to the actual assignment. So I'm going to give you 2 points, and I want you to find the distance between 10, 9 and 10, 10. So take those 2 points, use your girl to find your distance. If you're not sure if you're doing it right, raise your hand. Let's make sure you're getting it right before you do that assignment.
There's no gravity that sucked me in your orbit. There's no magnet that was in your heart. The one restriction was the friction that was keeping us a little too far apart. Well, why